Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in to the video. This is going to be a very different video, and no text or no real notes, just a couple of little words jotted down on my date book here, and just talking with you from my heart. Thank you to those of you that have watched and been a part of this ministry. I appreciate you very much for doing that. For the handful of you that send me comments and let me know what you think, that has gotten smaller and smaller through the time. But we appreciate those of you that do it. We really do. It has been, the last few months has been a very exciting time at this ministry. Also for me personally, for about the last 6 months, it has been just an emotional roller coaster. I haven't said anything or made comments much, just little sneaky little things put in for those of you that pray for us. But I've stayed silent because I have come to recognize the people that care are very minimal, and very minimal. And so why waste your time or my time talking about that? Had an experience yesterday. I'm recording this on Wednesday, so that was Tuesday that I drove my secondary vehicle to my mechanics. It's about a 90-mile trip, 85, 90-mile trip to get to my mechanic, and experienced a miracle. That was the mechanic's wife's word. Not mine, but her word. And so on the way back home, the Holy Spirit challenged me in my spirit and said, would you be willing to get behind the camera and give me praise? I was like, yeah, I will definitely praise you. It doesn't matter what is happening. There are definitely things to praise you with. I'm not sure, and I'm bouncing you around again. I don't have any notes to follow behind, and so you're just going to have to strap in and stay with me here, and then I will bring you back to this thing that happened that probably technically I shouldn't be here right now. So I will get to that in just a moment. I hope that you will keep watching. Why is it such a time in the middle of some just fantastic things happening ministry-wise? I made the statement that I had called the devil stupid. And I still stand on that. The devil is stupid. He does the most stupid things. He has no creativity at all. He does stupid things that he thinks is going to win him the battle, like hanging the Son of God on a cross. He's just stupid. But I called the devil stupid, and he slapped me in the face for it. And so tomorrow, as I'm recording this, whatever you want to call this person, a person that has been given authority that he has no qualifications for, and his agenda has been to go around Iowa and close down churches, because there's no kingdom-mindedness there of saying we want to serve the communities and help people get to Jesus. The mindedness is how can we steal their property and put money in our pocket, and that's what denominations are about. Folks, if you're involved in a denomination, quit putting your money in, quit putting your tithe in there. Find you an independent church, a little non-denominational church that you can go and be a part of and support and get out of these places that are just as godless as can be. And he'll be making the decision's already been made, in fact. And I refused to go to the meeting, mainly because I wrestled with the Lord all night long on Monday night, Sunday night, actually it was Sunday night, early Monday morning, wrestled with the Lord, and I had lots to say. I had printed out things, I had lots to say, and the Lord told me just straight out, point blank, you throw those notes away and you be silent. And I wrote about in the newsletter, it is a lot easier for me to speak for the Lord than it is to be silent for the Lord. And I recognize within my own ability, I don't have the ability to do what God told me to do. And so I'm not even going to the meeting, so we'll find out how fast they will close the place down and sell the property. And then I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what is going to happen in the ministry. That isn't about whining, because I know most of the people that even watch the videos don't care. And I recognize that, sorry. But there's a very small handful that do care. But I'm not wasting your time whining. I'm just telling you the facts. Anybody that has been around me in recent years, over the past 16 years in fact, know that I hate October. October is by far my least favorite month out of the year. 16 years ago on October 24th was the darkest day of my ministry ever. I've had a lot of blessings in ministry, folks. Let me tell you something. God has blessed me much more than I ever deserved. He has given me opportunity. He has poured out on my ministry. I've seen some phenomenal services. I've seen some phenomenal places. God has been very, very good to me. Again, I don't say these things to whine. But I've had dark days in my life. I've had dark nights of the soul in ministry. But hands down, without any question, 16 years ago on October 24th, it was hands down the worst day of my ministry career. Just in the last couple of years, God has begun to bring me to the place of some peace in the events that took place on that day, but it is still hard. And when you throw in the fact that my daughter lost a baby, she is now expecting again. I can say that now because she has made that public in the newsletter, but we had to put a very, very special pet to me down because of a tumor on her liver, and just really tough times. And then come into this where the denomination comes in and shuts down the ministry, and I have no say-so in what takes place at all in that. And they don't care about me or any of the people that we minister to or anything else. They don't care. They care about stealing the property. That's what they're about, and that's what they're going to do, and there's nothing that I can do about that. So all of this is going on in the middle of this situation. A few weeks ago, it seems like forever ago, before I left for Arizona, I went over to New Sharon to one of my few remaining ministry friends' churches and spoke to their men's prayer breakfast about what had been going on, the tremendous rallies and revivals and coming up into going to Arizona and all that God was going to do. And I had left my car behind because I was trying to save as much of it as I could, which did me no good in that sense, but at least I saved a little bit out of it anyway. And I had drove my backup vehicle to New Sharon to do that speaking engagement. Perfect ride over there. Everything went well at the men's prayer breakfast. Got back in the vehicle and had just a terrible noise all the way home. I had a person look at it, and we thought it was just the brakes. And so yesterday morning I had made the appointment with my mechanic. As I say, it's some 85, 90 miles to drive there. And of course it was making the noise, and it had a little bit of pull beside it. And I thought, well, that's because the brakes are grabbing. And so I'm driving down the interstate going... the speed limit is 65 to 70 depending on where you are, and let's just say that I wasn't always staying within the speed limit. God forgive me. As I drove that vehicle, I made a stop about 15 miles away from the mechanics to use the restroom, to throw away some garbage, and to get ready for the remainder of the trip, thanking God that He had gotten me that far. And when I got back out trying to get on the highway, the car just started taking off on me sideways. I thought I was going to have to park it, or that I was going to hit something. And I just kept praying and made the rest of the trip to where I was going. The noise had stopped, and I thought, oh, okay. And I got into town and got there and stopped and talked with the mechanic that was going to work on the vehicle. And he said, okay, we'll get it in on the hoist as quickly as we can and take a look and see what's happening. And it had been just a little while. I was setting out talking to the owner's wife, the co-owner there, and we were just talking, and pretty soon I heard their son holler out to me, "Hey, Mike, come in here a minute." I thought that was kind of silly to call me in there, because they know that I know nothing about mechanical stuff, so they could show me something and it would mean nothing to me because I don't have any idea about mechanical stuff. So I thought, okay, you're going to show me what's going on with the brakes, and that isn't going to do any good because I don't know anything. And I walked in, and the mechanic that was working on the vehicle grabbed a hold of the tire wheel and moved it like this, literally moved it. I thought, I'm not a mechanic, but I know it shouldn't be doing that. The wheel bearing was completely shot. They showed me later, he took the wheel assembly and brought it out and showed it to me. And it reminded me, this will date how old I am, and those of you that are old enough to know what I'm talking about, you'll know what I mean when I say this. It reminded me of a little slinky. It wasn't real thick strands of metal. It was just like 3 little pieces of metal that looked like a slinky. You could literally pull it, and it was flexible in that. And he said, watch this. And he took that little slinky thing off, and the whole wheel assembly came off. And he said, just like that, your tire is gone. The mechanic's wife was talking about, I don't care what you call this. This was a miracle, because let me tell you something. One jerk of the wheel for you going off of the road or whatever, and I thought I was jerking the wheel when it was going sideways all over the place. I was jerking the wheel, and when I got it back under control and got it going straight, went back up to speed again. Over 70 miles an hour. And it's like, That wheel could have come completely off of that vehicle at any point in time. It was just hanging by this little slinky that somehow kept the tire on the vehicle, and it shouldn't have. I'll leave it to your imagination. Obviously, it went through my imagination. What happens if you're driving 80 miles an hour down a highway with vehicles all around you and your wheel comes off? A miracle? See, I don't know what's going to happen in the ministry, and I was already ready. I've admitted that to people. I was ready to close it down before all of the explosion happened. Just turn it over to my daughter and stop. I'm sick of playing church games. Places that call themselves churches that have no heart for God at all. People that are so judgmental that you can't even talk to them. Denominations that have no desire to be biblical in their actions at all. They aren't ministers, they're businessmen that will gladly take property that they put no money in whatsoever, that people paid for and took care of and nurtured, and they'll come in and just steal it and sell it. Or they'll throw you out of the church not because you're teaching wrong, but because you're teaching right. They'll throw people. The one man came in when he heard the rumor going around, and he sat down on the chair and he said, "What about us?" And I said, "I'm really sorry to tell you, buddy, but they don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about any of us. They care about this." I'm so weary of trying to convince people of the ministry that we do. So tired of being talked down to. And I remember when I left Arizona and came to Iowa, and people was asking me, "When are you going to get back into ministry again?" It's like I'm doing more ministry now than I've ever done it behind some worthless pulpit, playing church games on Sunday. I'm doing more ministry than I ever did. It's like, oh, Mike, we hope that someday the Lord will get you back into ministry again. I'm so just weary of trying to show people when we provide Bibles to street people and have been working very hard behind the scenes to try to get Bibles to a group of believers in Kenya, when the big shot Bible providers said, "Thank you for contacting us." And we do the videos and do the newsletters, and we used to do the podcast, and we've gone all out around and talked to people, and it doesn't mean anything to anyone. The just numerous and numerous people that we've dealt with using the computer and traveling in the vehicles that are now breaking down underneath of me, and nobody cares. But I want to tell you something. I don't know what will happen. I don't know how long I will have internet access, how long I will have a place to sit and record the videos. And I really think most people, again, don't care whether we do the videos or not. But for those of you that cared to watch today, I want to assure you of something, no matter what my future holds. If I'm done, if it's over with, if God says you've done enough, that's it, I'm closing it down. I serve an amazing, awesome God that could have literally, in a split second yesterday, took me out. And he kept that wheel on that vehicle for 90 some miles, going 80 miles an hour, 75 miles an hour. And the mechanics themselves said, I didn't say that to you. When he called me out into the shop there to look at this, he said, you better be thankful that you serve God. And I thought, I am thankful. I didn't know what he was talking about, but it's like, I am thankful that I serve God. It was like that. There's no way that tire should have stayed on this vehicle. All that was holding it was a little 3-strand slinky. And if that would have let loose at all, there was nothing holding that wheel on your vehicle. I serve a God that has never, in 45 years of ministry, he has never given me what I deserved. He has always blessed me beyond measure. And if he finishes this ministry and it's done and over with, because we won't have anywhere to communicate, probably won't have a phone, probably won't have the videos and all of that stuff. If he's finished with us, I will stand before him knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt that he has been better to me than I could have ever deserved from him. He has been gracious. He has been merciful. For I fall short way too often. And his mercy extends to me. Because you see, on Monday before I went to the mechanics, I messed up again. And God himself held a wheel on a car that should have come off. Oh, Mike, you're just being dramatic. I don't know anything about vehicles. That isn't my words. That's the experts' words. So my Lord and my God, that has been much better to me than I deserved, I sat behind this camera and give you praise. It's hard to do it, Lord. But I know that the only reason that this ministry has kept going for 45 years wasn't because anybody believed in it. It was because you held it together when it should have come apart. And for 45 years you've been trying to teach me, my Lord, how to not cower away from the rain, but to dance in the rain. And right now, my Lord, I don't feel like dancing. But I am in awe of you, my Lord, for how you would take a person that deserved nothing from you and keep a wheel on a vehicle that should have easily come off at 80 miles an hour, driving down the highway. I do praise you, my Lord, for the wonderful things that you have allowed us to do. The literally hundreds of videos that we've been able to put out. And before that, the radio programs and the television programs and the newsletters and all of that went literally all over the country. Podcasts that were watched in Sweden and Japan. You have been so good to me, my Lord. And without any hesitation and without any consideration of what's fixing to happen in the next few days, my Lord and my God, I openly give you praise for your grace, your mercy, your protection, your salvation, your sanctification, your infilling, everything that you do. And I pray, my Lord, that you would never stop teaching me to dance in the rain.